Am I the idiot for yelling at my girlfriend to stop effing eating? Here's the full story. My 26 male, sister 23 female, runs a bakery business and she's been struggling lately to keep up with orders because she's been short-staffed. She does a lot of orders for wedding cakes that require custard or marmalade fillings, and I offered to help her out by making these fillings at home and bringing them to her so she has less work to do. Unfortunately, the past 4 times I've made these fillings, my girlfriend 24 female has literally dipped her fingers into the filling jars and contaminated them because, in her words, she just wanted to try some. I've tried explaining to her that she can't dip her fingers in and contaminate the entire batch, because then I have to remake it. I said she should use a spoon and take some out if she wants to try so bad, but she just pouts and says that she likes using her fingers because it takes her back to her childhood. Today, I was trying to finish some chocolate custard to send it over to my sister really fast because she was running late on a wedding cake order for an important client. I told my girlfriend beforehand to not eat the custard, and if she really wanted to please use a spoon. I get out of the shower and what do I see? She has her fingers in it again. I totally lost it because this is the 5th time she blatantly disregarded what I said, and I yelled at her and told her to stop effing eating the food I'm making, because it's not for her and she's contaminating it. She started crying and got mad at me for fat shaming her, even though I made no comment on her weight and she has no history of weight issues or eating disorders. I know I was harsh, but she kept pushing my limits. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. She's exhausting and sounds like she's trying to sabotage you helping your sister. Not the idiot. Calling her out for contaminating food that's intended for commercial sale to other people because she wants to relive her childhood is absolutely appropriate. Hiding behind the fat shaming nonsense seems like a way to try to escape accountability for her total lack of self-control. Not the idiot. At this point, she is doing it on purpose, in front of you or right when you are ready to catch her. Yeah, she is purposefully ruining things for some reason. Break up with her. This person is sabotaging and wasting your time. But worse, she is sabotaging your sister. Not the idiot. Her GF is being terribly unhygienic. Nobody gives a shit if it reminds her of her childhood. She cannot stick her filthy fingers in other people's food. This has nothing to do with her weight and everything to do with her inability to follow simple requests and basic food hygiene. Your GF is blatantly sabotaging you. OP, I'd be kicking her out of my space pronto for this, the disrespect. But if you don't feel comfortable with that, maybe put aside a small bit of each batch for her to plunk her fingers into. Honestly, at this point, it's on purpose. I don't know if it's some kind of weird power play, or she's just still basically a toddler who thinks the world revolves around them. But it's way unacceptable. I'm not sure what other good qualities your girlfriend has that you've continued to date her, but you might want to reevaluate some things. You deserve to date someone who shows basic respect. Am I the idiot for calling my mom when my husband did this? I, 26 female, recently moved into my first home. I am also 4 months pregnant with our first baby. The pregnancy has been very hard. I have horrible morning sickness. It reached a really bad point where I passed out, hit my head, and my doctor admitted me to the hospital for a week. When I got home, my husband allowed his brother's family to move into 2 of our 3 bedrooms. They were evicted, I don't know why. One room was my office, was tossed into our room, papers everywhere. The house was a complete wreck. Trash, dirty clothes, used diapers. I started to cry. It was like a light flipped. My husband was no longer the same. My husband told me it wasn't that bad. My reply was, fine then, you should have the house cleaned up before I wake up. Completely exhausted, I fell asleep for 4 hours. I woke up and went to get a drink of water. I couldn't. Every glass we own is scattered around the house. They didn't clean a single thing. I passive-aggressively started to pick up the dirty dishes and wash them. The following morning, I was trying my best to work when their kids were crying non-stop, banging on the walls, so on. Their mom was in her room for hours ignoring them. When my husband came home, he was upset with me over how I didn't make his brother's wife feel welcome in our home by helping with their kids when she was tired, then continued to complain how nothing was done while he was at work all day in the house. Yep, the same one he didn't clean. That led to a fight where I told him, I am too sick to have company and they need to leave. To which he replied they are his family and he won't kick them out. I started to cry again. I was beyond frustrated, exhausted. I physically couldn't do it anymore. I called my mom asking if I could come stay with her, telling her the whole story in front of my husband, who at this point was completely shocked, angry. Also, I could tell he wasn't sure what to do. My mom came with my brothers. I have 3 older brothers. My mom super angry told my husband, "Since your family can stay, so can we." My mom quickly took charge. I was sent to bed. My brothers started cleaning, complaining loudly at how disgusting my brother-in-law family is, along with what a horrible husband my husband is for putting me through this while I am sick. I got a text message from my mother-in-law for calling me an idiot, for not helping my husband clean up the house and putting my brother-in-law in an uncomfortable position by having my mom boss him around. Your mother-in-law called to fuss at you for involving your mother. There's this pot kettle thing. Not the idiot 1000%, but house guests in a shared home require 2 yeses and only 1 no. Both of you agree or it shouldn't happen. Your husband has treated you abominably. I'm not sure I could deal with that, honestly. I mean this in the nicest way possible. Please start prepping for divorce. Your husband moved in people to the home without consulting with you first. He is prioritizing their needs over the needs of his wife and unborn child. Not the idiot. Not the idiot. Also, since brother-in-law and his family are living with you rent-free, the least they should do while you are pregnant and ill is make your life easier, not harder. They should be cooking meals and cleaning so you can rest. OP, have you been diagnosed with hyperemesis gravidarum? If not, get your OB to do so, if possible. You will need care for a high-risk pregnancy. Update. When my mother-in-law showed up, she was super angry outside. I could hear shouting, but couldn't understand what was said. Once inside, she was shocked. My house looked really bad. My brother-in-law lied to her about what happened. My mother-in-law quickly started to help my mom in the bossing mode. My house is not just clean but deep cleaned. My brother-in-law and his kids are now staying with mother-in-law. She didn't know about the eviction. My in-laws helped them financially a couple of months ago. My mother-in-law was not happy about it. Sister-in-law refused to come out of the bedroom. She would scream through the door, but that was about it until her family came to pick her up. Last little bit, I did talk to my husband. He seemed very remorseful. I asked for some space. He is staying at a hotel. He asked to come by and talk to me tonight. My mom and dad are here. Both moms felt like I should have someone here since I am sick. Both moms have set up a meal plan where they trade off who will bring in dinner. It was my mother-in-law's idea. Talk with husband, summed up since it lasted 4 hours. It was a hard talk. He is remorseful. Brother-in-law was only supposed to stay for a couple of nights, then leave. Originally he thought they would be gone before I got home. He said he is tired and emotionally upset himself. When I originally passed out, my husband left to help a friend move. He came home and found me. He said he has no idea how long I was on the floor hurt. He was originally scared I had died. Since then he has had nightmares, on top of dealing with his family drama. He admitted to dumping his frustration onto me. When it's not my fault, he begged me for another chance. The next steps. We are still separated. He plans on staying at my brother's house in his casita. We are going to go to marriage counseling and individual counseling. He asked if he could come when the home health nurse comes each night into my doctor's appointments. I agreed to that. Brother-in-law's wife admitted to having an affair. She told him she got married too soon and doesn't want the responsibilities of being a mom anymore. I am not sure what will happen with him and his kids, but I am shocked that she feels this way, especially with her kids. I think you should spend some time away from him. Stay with your parents who will actually help you through your illness, and tell him you aren't coming back until the unwanted guests are gone. Am I the idiot for not attending my son's wedding? Instead spent the evening with his ex-wife. This is what happened. Quick backstory. After graduating high school, my son moved 3 states away for college. At 19, he married a girl he met. I tried convincing him to wait because I personally felt he was too immature. They both dropped out and moved back here to his hometown. At 20, they had their first child, a beautiful little girl. 16 months later, my daughter-in-law gave birth to their second child, a little boy. After the first baby, my wife and I noticed our daughter-in-law wasn't happy. We both thought it was PPD related. Just after the second arrived, my son and his wife separated. She would bring the kids over for a visit. It was then she began unloading on us. I know there's 2 sides to every story, but considering I know my son, I believed her. I sat my son down numerous times to speak with him regarding his marriage. He refused to take responsibility, blamed her for everything even when I directly pointed out where he was the sole problem. They got into counseling. For a year things were okay on the surface. Our daughter-in-law filed for divorce. My son 3 days later was on Facebook announcing his new girlfriend. A month later, they were engaged. My son had forced his then-wife to become a permanent stay-at-home mom at the birth of their first child. She of course had no other family or friends here. She knew no one aside from us. She had nowhere to go with two small children. Unbeknownst to our son, my wife and I helped her financially and got her an apartment. Before the divorce was even finalized, we received a wedding invitation. I made it clear to my son I would not be attending and they would not have my blessing. His mother told him she would see to it that I would attend. I stayed consistent in my decision. I also asked him not to bring his fiancée around our house out of respect for the mother of his children. The wedding happened on February 11th. The night before, my wife gave me the final push. I did not attend. Our daughter also did not attend for the same reasons. My wife picked up our grandkids, got them dressed, and attended the wedding. My daughter and I decided to spend the evening with his ex. I couldn't imagine her sitting alone while her kids attended their father's wedding. She was taken aback that I didn't end up attending his wedding. We took her out to distract her mind. I just wanted her to know she'll always be considered family to us. My daughter also made a joke they can drop the in-law status and just be sisters now. She was very tearfully grateful. I realized just how badly she needed our support, and specifically on that night. The next morning, my son called to tell me how much of a horrible father I am for not attending his wedding. Few days later, he caught wind that I spent the wedding evening with his ex. He said that was the ultimate form of betrayal. And further, myself and his sister would have to earn a relationship with him on his terms only. Not the idiot. This is funny. You have to earn a relationship on his terms. I think he needs to check his offering. He's way overvaluing what he brings to the table. Not the idiot. It sounds like you're a reasonable parent who acknowledges when your kid is being an idiot. I don't see anything wrong with you choosing to support the mother of your grandchildren who he seems to have left in a bad spot. Not the idiot. He wanted a trophy wife, immediately got into a relationship with another woman when he got divorced, and tried to manipulate both you and her. Unlike some comments that will undoubtedly come, the relationship you have with your ex-daughter-in-law is yours, not dependent on him. Good for you for helping her out through this difficult time and for standing against the idiot's son. Update your wills. His portion of your estate should go in a trust for the first two kids. Help wife one get a career, stability. You'll hear from your son when he wants something. Not the idiot. Rushing into two marriages in his early 20s. He likes getting married. Staying married, not so much. He could be a 5-time loser in the marriage stakes by his early 40s at the rate he's moving. Not the idiot. And OP, your son seems to be very, very immature. You received an invitation and already made it clear you would not attend. And the way you help the daughter-in-law is a testament to what a kind man you are. You and your daughter have the morals your son will never be able to see. I think it's very brave for you to see your daughter-in-law as a person who most needs family and your support. Standing with your beliefs may have cost you a relationship with your son and likely with future grandchildren, but it will have profoundly impacted the life of some very real humans in your life now. Sometimes family comes to us outside of blood. It sounds like you found someone you genuinely brought into yours and don't want to see wronged, even by another family member.